Hello guys, and welcome to Matt's Beamer. I will try and make this video as snappy as possible as I don't want you to fall asleep. Plus my camera's battery was running low quick. I shall add a more detailed script down below. Also, if you want to see other 1 series DIY videos, then please subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hit the bell icon. The other week I noticed that my car was yelling at me, shouting, "Your battery is low," and "Increased battery discharge when stationary. Electrical consumers were temporarily switched off, you idiot." Then it came to my mind that many BMW owners may have a flat battery due to us being locked indoors due to this horrible virus. I haven't really been kind to my battery over the last year, as I have only done 800 kilometers, and batteries don't like that. I really need to drive my car more. I have a trickle charger, which is very clever. But as soon as I ordered it, the power supply to my garage and all the garages around me were cut off. Typical. Anyway, my battery is an AGM battery. AGM stands for Absorbed Glass Matte, which is more advanced than the standard battery. Oh, and also more expensive. If your original battery is black, then the chances are it will be an AGM battery. Usually the white batteries are the standard ones. Getting into the car. The battery on the F20 F21 is located in the boot, so don't let your battery get low. Otherwise you will have to be good at gymnastics to climb through the car to get to the boot. While editing this video, I realised that there was another process to open this boot from the inside. Obviously, as I've just realised, not yet filmed it, so hopefully, if Mr. Putin lets me, I'll be able to quickly film this process very soon. I will add the link down below when I make it. To get into the car itself, you need to remove the key blade from your key. Just push in the button here and slide out the blade as shown. This blade will allow you to unlock the front doors by sliding them into the key cylinder. Certain cars will have this covered up, so all you have to do is basically pop off the cover. If you have no time to watch my next video, this is basically how you get into the back very quick. You unlock the front doors, then pop open the rear doors by pulling the rear handle twice, fold down the rear seats, and then basically use a screwdriver to undo the latch from the inside. Also, while in the car, make sure that you turn off all the electrics, such as the headlights, the radio, interior lights, etc. This will reduce any issues when disconnecting the battery, and then reconnecting it later. Accessing and removing the battery. If you are replacing your battery for a new one, it will need to get registered to the car. If you don't, there will be issues later on. I'm basically just charging up my old battery, as the power is getting too low. With the boot open, it's easy to gain access to the battery. It is under the boot floor, which is easy to remove. Here is the battery. Obvious, I know. There are a few types of battery this car can have. Mine has the AGM battery, but some people like changing them for the different type of battery, usually because they want to save money. But this process also involves you telling the car that there's a different type of battery being used. For that process, you will need to have something like Carly, that car app, to do that. Removing the battery itself. First of all, I removed my battery's brace. You don't need to remove this first, but I did anyway. The two nuts holding this in place are 10mm. When you've undone those two nuts and took the brace off, put it in a safe place out of the way. Then after that, I removed the battery's negative terminal. This is indicated with the minus sign. It should have a black cable attached to it, though some say it's brown. You will need to use a 10mm socket or spanner to loosen this bolt. Don't fully undo this bolt. If this clamp is difficult to remove, do not use a screwdriver to force it undone. You just have to wriggle it loose. Also, be careful with the stuff attached to this negative clamp. In other words, don't manhandle it or put pressure on the wires. The negative clamp has the IBS sensor, which means Intelligent Battery Sensor, which is extremely clever, and it's not cheap to replace. When you have removed the clamp from the terminal, keep it wrapped in something like a micro towel, just like this. It's to basically protect it from damage. Now, remove the polystyrene cover, which sits between the battery and the metal compartment. After this, I removed the positive terminal by loosening the 10mm bolt. Make sure you undo the correct one. Also, be careful with this lead too. It has the car's BST feature, which in event of a crash sends little explosions to disconnect the power coming from the positive terminal. I also wrapped the positive terminal, and I was extremely gentle. You really don't want to damage anything here. To the right hand side of the battery is a clamp which holds the battery in place. You will need to do this bolt down here with a 13mm socket. Remember where the hole is. The last thing you need to remove is the battery's vent tube from the side of the battery. Make sure you reconnect this later, it's extremely important. With everything disconnected, you can safely remove the battery. It is extremely heavy, so be careful with your back, fingers, etc. Use both hands when you pull the battery out. Make sure you do it evenly and be careful not to snag or pull a wire. I was just using one hand because I had to try and film the process for you. As my car is in the garage, I will put a cloth in the boot latch mechanism to stop the boot fully closing. I don't want to climb through the car to open it. How to reinstall the battery. When reinstalling a new battery, you will need to get it registered to the car, and if your new battery is different, you will need to code it too. I shall add a link down below, which involves a person coding and registering the battery on his F30 using the Carly app. Don't have that app, so unfortunately I can't show you how to do it. When putting the battery back in the car, make sure the area where the battery is going is clear and that the leads are pushed out of the way, along with the vent tube. Make sure nothing is in the way, because the last thing you want to do is to crush anything. What I did was position the battery outside of the car, roughly in line with where it needs to be in the boot. The positive battery on my car is on the left hand side. I don't know if right hand drive cars are different. Just remember that the positive is the red wire with the red plus sign, and the negative wire is the black wire minus sign. After carefully inserting the battery into the hole, get it close to the left hand side, but not too close, as you will need space to put the vent tube back into the battery in this little hole just here. Make sure you do not forget to put this tube back in the hole. This tube helps prevent any explosive gases being contained in the area the battery sits in the boot. With the tube in the hole, slide the battery as far left as possible so the left hand side goes under the lip. With the clamp in place, you can then put the clamp on the right hand side. Make sure that you put the long bolt in the hole it came out of. It will need torquing down to 6 Newton-meters. Now attach the positive lead and torque it up to 5 Newton-meters. Before reattaching the negative terminal, make sure all the accessories are turned off in the car. Don't forget to slide in the polystyrene parts just here. Be aware, when connecting the clamp onto the negative terminal, there will be a slight sparkage. I don't know if that's an actual word, but hey. Basically, try to reconnect that cable fast and directly, and don't keep making sparks happen. Now, refit the battery's brace. The nuts here need to be torqued down to 6 Newton-meters. Now the battery is connected, you can put the floor back in, fill your boot back up, and then turn on the ignition. The car had the discharging message still on there, but when I took it for a quick drive and turned it off, it disappeared. I've heard that some cars have some kind of fault code with the power steering, and if that happens, just basically turn your steering wheel from lock to lock and it should disappear. Now the next step is for you to actually register or code the battery yourself. I may attempt to make a quick video on how to register your BMW battery using a Foxwell NT520 Pro. The reason I'm not too sure about doing this video is because I couldn't actually film the whole process, as basically my battery was not a new one, it was just the one that was in my car being charged up. Anyway, I hope this video was of some use, and if you want to see more F20, F21 1 Series videos, please subscribe. And if you just like cars in general, please subscribe there too. Take care. Goodbye.